Chapter 7, Signs All Around Me. Receiving the results of the amniocentesis test motivated me to go back to God and ask for help. That hopeless feeling had begun to creep back into my heart after riding high on the news of the original blood test that came back normal. I got up every day and continued to do my job, continued to be a father to my older son and a husband to my wife, and I began to accept living in a state of unknowing. It's hard to explain this feeling. The only peace I could muster to continue moving forward was in the hour I spent in prayer every day in the chapel at school. Some days I prayed in fear, other days in frustration and sorrow, and some days in hope. I never prayed alone. I began making it a habit to ask one of the parents praying in the chapel when I entered to join me. Whether I knew them or taught their child or not, it made no difference. I just wanted to pray with someone because I believed that Christ said when he told his disciples, "When two or more are gathered in my name, I am there." One day in late October, I went to the chapel to pray. As is my custom, upon entering the chapel, I saw a blonde-haired woman kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament in prayer. I knelt down next to her, and I asked her if she would be willing to pray with me. Then I introduced myself. "Oh, my daughter is a freshman and has come home on many nights and told us about your son. I would love to pray with you," she whispered. We prayed the rosary, then some prayer cards asking for the intercession of the Blessed Mother. The term intercession is heard most often among Catholics and some other Christians. It is derived from the words to intercede, meaning to act or advocate on behalf of another. Thus, intercessors, such as the Blessed Mother and the saints, bring our prayers and petitions to God on our behalf. They serve as go-betweens. The concept is that they have achieved the high level of holiness, and they are closer to God than us mere mortals, and as such communicating with God in ways that we cannot. This is not to imply that God doesn't hear prayers that aren't made through intercessors. An intercessor is essentially an advocate or an ally. Thus, in intercessory prayer, we seek the aid of another to bring our prayers and petitions to God, who alone can work a miracle. "Do you have a special relationship with the Blessed Mother?" my prayer partner asked. I had never been asked that question before, so I hesitated before responding. "Yes, I guess I do," I answered. She began to explain in detail about how she had been praying to Mary for years and that Mary was a powerful intercessor. She told me that she felt God has chosen me at this moment in this school for a reason. She believed that God was using my family to show people his power and mercy. She told me she felt that the suffering Ashley and I were enduring was a blessing, a great opportunity to enrich our relationship with God. I realized that day how blessed we were to be given Eli. Whatever suffering we would endure would be of little consequence on this earth. God was challenging us to live out more spiritual lives, to pray more earnestly, and to offer up our sufferings for others. Eli would become and will always be my stairway to heaven. I have sought a more personal relationship with God in my prayer life every day, and the rewards he has given to us for seeking his grace are very many. As I was leaving for school one morning, Ashley came to meet me at the car right before I backed out. I quickly stepped on the brake and rolled down the window. "I just wanted to say that I love you. Here, take this. I know you pray every day, and this is a novena to Saint Therese that I just finished. Have a great day," Ashley said to me. I took the prayer card and put it in the console of the car. I brought Ephraim to school and went on to work, like any other day. I had intentions of bringing the card into the chapel with me, but I forgot it in my car. I did not know at the time, but Ashley had prayed that prayer card for 7 days prior to giving it to me. A few days later, I was leaving the library after one of my breaks. I had been voicing my concerns about Eli to some of my colleagues. I was telling them that I was frustrated to have to live in the unknown. No matter how much a person loves what he does or becomes preoccupied with any task, the thought that his child may die in the womb or live a less than normal life never leaves his mind. One of my colleagues made a great suggestion, and I opted it as my new motto. "Chad, you may not be here for tomorrow. Just live one day at a time," she offered. It was the most sensible advice anyone had given me to that point, and it helped to ground me. I believe God speaks to us every day through different people, and then he gives us the opportunity to realize it. This was just one of many times that this occurred during Ashley's pregnancy. My phone began to buzz as our conversation was ending. Ashley's voice was on the other end of the line, and she seemed to be in a peculiar mood. She said she was having a really rough day until she got a special delivery. "I got a rose today," she said happily. I was surprised and a little embarrassed because I'm not the one who sent it. I asked her if she knew who did. I think it came from my mom, and has a note on it. Do you want to know what it says? Sure. She then proceeded to read the card. Your love is more beautiful than this rose. Love, Eli. Just the way God intended. Then she told me that when the delivery man dropped off the rose, all of her colleagues began to cry. Ashley works with some wonderful people at our hospital, and they have proved to be an important source of support for her, just as my colleagues in my job have been for me. It wasn't until later that night that I realized the significance of that rose. Ashley arrived home with a huge smile on her face and said that St. Therese had sent her the rose as a sign. She said she believed St. Therese had heard her prayer and was interceding for her. She went on to explain that after you say a novena to St. Therese, you ask her to send you a rose as a sign that your prayers are being heard. Then you wait in faith to receive one. I asked Ashley if her mom knew that she had been saying the novena, and she said that her mom had no idea. In fact, when Ashley realized that her mom had sent the rose, she called her. After thanking her mom, she asked what compelled her to send the rose. Her mom replied, on my way back to work this morning, something just told me deep inside you had to have a rose. Some people would chalk this up to coincidence. Well, I call it our first major God incident. He had our attention. If I needed another sign that Ashley and I were not alone in our journey, I found it a few days later as I was walking down the hall toward my classroom. I noticed a small sticky note on the window of the door to one of the classrooms. I stopped to see what was drawn on the little piece of paper. It was a cross, and in the center of it was a heart. Then my heart fell into my stomach. Inside the heart, clear as day, was the name Eli. Each heart had rays exiting from all sides of the cross, as if Eli's name was giving off a ray of light. I was touched. I continued to walk toward my room and passed another room, the one that had a sticker on it too. I kept walking down the hall, and in utter awe and disbelief, I saw every room had a sticker on it. I eventually realized that every doorway in the entire school had a sticker on it. Some students had taken the time to hand draw these crosses on sticky notes and proceeded to walk the entire school and place one on each doorway. It was to serve as a constant reminder to pray for Eli before each class, each day, until he was born. What a selfless act from a group of people who, because of their age and the world in which they live, might be expected to be more preoccupied with themselves. I felt God was beginning to reveal something to me that I had not seen before. This was all happening at this school, at this time, with these kids, for a specific reason. I did not understand it, but I knew that day that God was using me and my family. Eli was no ordinary baby. He had a real purpose that was well beyond my comprehension. In the span of 3 days, I felt God was showing me that this was bigger than just our family, way bigger. It was clear to me that the Holy Spirit was moving in my life and in the lives of 1,200 teenagers at St. Thomas More High School.